Vince and welcome to episode 8 of the YouTube Fixers, and in this episode we have a world exclusive on a PlayStation 4 repair. We also have some crackly speakers. We also have a Hexbug Mobot Fetch which is no longer doing its thing. And lastly, perhaps my favourite one on the series so far, we have some vintage postal scales which are having a full-on restoration. Let's get straight into it. So first up we have our world exclusive from the YouTube channel Andrew Paul, and this really is the first time that this product has been showcased. Prices wise, you're going to have to speak to Andy about this. I think he mentioned it's going to be about £5 UK excluding postage. So hopefully if you're into repairing these things and you get a bunch of these, I'm thinking it may well save you time. So here we have it, Andy from the YouTube channel Andrew Paul with his world exclusive.
Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this section of the video. My name and my channel's namesake is Andrew Paul, and I do lots of component level repair, and today we're going to be taking a look at this PS4, as you can see, that's seen better days. And before I start, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Vince for allowing me this opportunity to show you all what we do, and let's get to it. So as you can see here, this is a bit of a mess, and Vince has asked me to knock together this short section today on this video, and therefore, I mean, you can see the state of this. I must have some sort of trick up my sleeve, right? Because all 19 pins are missing, and this would normally take a good hour and a bit. And to that end, yes, I do. And I'd like to introduce you to something today that I've been working on for a while now, and that is this. It is called the HDMI patch. And for those of you who aren't familiar with how it works, essentially, you can see that we have a nice header here to solder HDMI port to. On the original board, we don't. So of course, what happens here is you pop this down onto your board, which is terribly damaged, and essentially it lines up with all the various bits and pieces on the circuit which you'll need to solder to in order to rebuild it, and then you solder your nice new HDMI port to this nice shiny new header, and in theory everything works perfectly once more. It's nice and quick, it's nice and simple, and it's nice and easy. So let's get to the installation, I'll show you how it works, and hopefully you'll be impressed. Okay then, so let's get started with the installation. So as we can see, somebody's tried to do a wire install on this board before now and has given it up as a bad job. So luckily the vias and everything at the top there are still intact. You can see there where they've tinned them up as they've tried to solder to them. So what we're going to do, we're just going to offer our board up. Okay, and you can see there the holes that line up with the HDMI legs. We're just going to put the HDMI port through the hole as we would normally do. And we're just going to tweak the final position a little bit. So I'll spin you around so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're looking at the view of the HDMI patch now, and the HDMI port is in position. What we're going to do is we're just going to nudge this around a little bit so that the fingers on the HDMI header now line up with the rear pins of the HDMI port. And I like to leave a little bit of pad here just at the back so it overlaps, and we can see here that our vias line up nicely with these pads here, along with the diodes and everything else that we need to solder to down here. It's all roughly where we need it to be. Okay, so we're looking pretty good there. That's close enough for what we need to be doing. So it doesn't have to be exact, it just needs to be somewhere close. And as we can see there, everything's lining up pretty nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little dab of flux down onto this back diode just here. Doesn't really matter where you start, you can start wherever you like. I just like to start there. Okay, and I'm just going to tack this roughly into position. So I'm going to start by tinning the pad. Okay, and then once I've done that, just going to flatten this down to the board and just bridge across onto our diode there. Perfect. And I'm just going to repeat that for the other pads that we have here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to do the pin 13 diode, much the same. And the same down here on the back of this diode here for pin 18, 5 volts. Lovely. Okay, so now for the vias. Okay, so I've just gone in with a little bit of desolder braid here just to try and get rid of as much of the old solder that was on these vias from before as possible. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to apply a little bit of flux to our pads and our vias. I'm just going to come in now with a soldering iron, and I'm just going to try and bridge across from the pad to the via. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more flux here. And there we go. So a little bit fiddly, but you get better with practice. I'm just going to give this a really quick clean off. Okay, so we can see the HDMI port there now. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of flux at the back of this port. Okay, so that's the HDMI port in place. We'll just solder the ground feet in, and then we should be good to go. Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see there now, that's us done. We are good to go, and we're ready to test. Everything's soldered in there. Let's just get this reassembled, let's get it tested, and see if it works. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, so we have our machine partially rebuilt here now, just so we can test this thing. As you can see, it's on, and the screen is up. If I can get you in here, hopefully you can just about see there. We're at 1080p signal at 60 Hz. Everything looks absolutely beautiful. Okay, and there's our machine. And just to show you that indeed there are no tricks involved here, I'm just going to power the machine down. Okay, and we'll just dismantle this machine again now for you. And hopefully there you can see a little HDMI patch board installed there now. And yeah, all works absolutely beautifully. So thank you for watching then, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully you've really enjoyed this section of the video. I'm going to hand you back to Vince now. Thank you, Vince, once again, mate, for letting me showcase what I do on my channel. And hopefully I'll see you all shortly.
Thank you, Andy. What a fantastic idea. I hope it goes on to sell well for you worldwide and you get them out for other systems as well. It was Andrew's channel in the first place that gave me the confidence to change out my first ever retimer chip on an Xbox One S. Because his videos are laid out so well and are meticulous in their detail, it gives the novice a confidence to be able to copy him and be successful in their own right. So massive thanks, Andrew. And next up you got me, Vince, from My Mate Vince, and I'm looking at a crackly speaker around my brother's house. This was filmed over a year ago now. I just never got round to releasing it, so I thought I'd put it here on the YouTube Fixers. In this video today we're going to try and fix this speaker which has started crackling. Now it looks like the problem is coming from the volume control, because when I turn it you can hear the crackling coming and going. I've done the normal thing about turning it all the way to the right, left, wiggling it around a few times, but it's still doing it. And it does appear to be getting worse. So hopefully between using some isopropyl alcohol and deoxit, we will get this working again. So although these are computer speakers, remember this will apply to many of the things you were using. Anything with a volume control can often go crackly over time. So now to open this up, it looks like we just have to open this up here. And we've got screws in these holes here, so let's undo them. Now the reason we're taking it apart is because we want to get right in there. If I was just to spray around here with a contact cleaner. Some might work its way in, which might be a nice easy fix, but by actually going right the way into it, then we know we're getting onto the contacts. To take that out there, we just had to undo a screw at the back here. It was awkward to get to, so I used a flexible thing here. Had to prise off the volume control knob, and then you can see there's a little nut keeping this volume control knob in place here, which in turn keeps the whole board in place. So now that we have access here, what we can do is, you can see here, this line here, I'm going to pour isopropyl alcohol all around this bit here, and hopefully that will seep into this area. And then once that's dried out, then I'm going to get some deoxit and put it in here, and then hopefully once we keep working it round like this, it will make its way in there. Some of them are a lot more accessible. This one here you can see is all very much sealed, so it's going to be very hard to get to, but it should still work its way in there. So this is 99.9% alcohol, and I'm just going to drip it into the opening. Constantly turning it in the hope that bits will work their way in. Alright, so that's dried up now, so let's put a few drops of this in. As much as I can do now. As I said, it's so tight there, I don't know whether any's gone into it or not, but the IPA should have worked its way in there. So let's put it back together now, and then we'll test it again and see if it has cleared the problem. Let's take this over to the computer, see if it's fixed. And now if you have a listen. I'm just making tiny movements, and that scratching sound's gone. Yeah, happy with that. So as you can see, it's an easy way to fix many speakers that have a crackly audio volume control. So there we have it, not the most interesting fix in the world, but it's a fix that's still working to this day now. So it shows you by spending a little bit of time, often you can give a new lease of life to older products, and they don't always have to be just thrown away and new replacements bought. So now next up we have Shawn from the YouTube channel Having Fun Repairs, and in this one he's fixing a Hexbug Mobot Fetch which belongs to his little boy. And this is how a lot of people do get into repairs, not meaning to, they just try to fix things that they break, and often kids break stuff because toys just often break and they can be a bit heavy-handed sometimes. So here we have Shawn working his magic on the little robot.
I'm Shawn from HFR, or Having Fun Repairs. First off, Vince, thanks for letting me partake in your video series. You're a wonderful guy, and everybody watches your videos and comments. Man, it's just a wonderful support that you've got there. I'm very honored to be a part of that. I'm here to do a repair, and that's what we're going to do. What I have is a little toy that my 5-year-old affectionately calls his Bub-Bub. It is a hex bug, and it's got some issues. So obviously some gear stripped out and other things going on, and you know, hopefully we can get this repaired and get some enjoyment back in his life out of this toy. What exactly is going on with this thing? Well, other than the feet, the gears for these feet to move up and down, stripping out. let's see what other issues we have. Turn it on real quick. Let's try moving it forward. Let's try moving it backwards. Let's try moving it left, right, up. We got one wheel spinning. One wheel spinning again. That one should spin. So obviously they're not catching good enough. Forward now. Backwards. So that's definitely intermittent. We can open up the hands and we can close them. Should be able to. That's opening. And that should be closing. So those seem to be stripped out as well. And then when I put it down, you see it's just going to close up. So obviously we've got some bigger issues. Inside, I'm going to assume, are some plastic gears, maybe a rubber band that's slipping on those gears. I'm not too sure. Toys had a little bit of abuse. Again, kid's toy. But let's take it apart and see what we can do with it. So, right off the bat, I think we may have one issue here between this gear and this gear here. It looks like the gear is canted or maybe even unseated. We'll continue with some more disassembly. Okay, so here are the discoverables. And I'm going to try to fix all this with a bit of epoxy. I don't know if it's going to be a lasting fix, but I think it's worth a shot. This gear is just slightly canted. I think I can remedy that. This was canted as well, not married up closely enough to it. I assume because these plastics were bending. If you can see, they're definitely cracked, both sides. So that should be able to remedy this, and we can move on to the bigger issue, which is in what's driving our wheels, our feet. So I took these apart and immediately pieces were falling out. Luckily, both sides weren't broken exactly the same manner, otherwise I'd be shooting in the dark. You can see that you have a little plastic, almost barely on there right now, retainer hole, whatever you want to call this, with what essentially a piece of metal sticks in. Your gear fits on that axle. It's held in there. And then it fits into, on the other side, right against here, that little plastic should be attached there. And so as this little miniature motor is turned on, and I believe there are probably more gears behind here, that motor is going to spin this gear in here. Yep. Which will spin this gear here, and in turn this entire assembly right here rotates. And like I said, luckily this piece was still on here, because on this side, those wheels, both pieces are entirely broken off. I am also missing a tooth on this gear and a tooth on that gear right there, but I think that's going to be okay. Anyways, let's proceed with trying to get this thing repaired. For those of you wondering what epoxy I'm going with, it is a JB Weld 2-part epoxy that I picked up many years ago and still haven't run out of. these parts feel like they're pretty much set. Hopefully you can put these together. Okie dokie, Mr. Blub Blub. It's time to test you out. Let's see. Can we get forward action? Hey! Backwards action? Does that mean both wheels are moving? Let's check for a second. Yeah, we know they're independent motors, so they're definitely moving. Go right, left, forward, back, and now the ultimate test. Will his arms open? He's lifting. Ooh, let's go down. Yeah, and he comes back up. Hey Ollie, you want to try out your Blub Blub? You want to see if he works again for you? Here. Can you give everybody a thumbs up? Cool. Yes. You saw the outcome of that. Do I think it's going to be a lasting repair? No. You saw the age of my kids. It'll get destroyed within like a week. But I appreciate you for watching. And really, Vince, for allowing me to be a part of his YouTube Fixers series. Take care.
Thanks for that, Shawn, and what a lovely reaction off your kids as well. It's always great to score some dad points there when they see you as some sort of godlike figure because you've got their favourite toy working again. It's hard to beat that feeling. So now, next up, I think this is probably my favourite part of the series 1 of the YouTube Fixers. So we have Jason from a YouTube channel called Dr. Restoration. Now this one's a lot different than the other videos on this series so far. Basically, there's a whole lot of restoration videos on YouTube that there's no talking, it's just the sounds of the tools. I don't know whether it's classed as ASMR or whether it's intentional or unintentional, but even myself, who doesn't get the feeling from ASMR videos, I still find it relaxing to listen to just the sounds of the tools with nothing else. And I really, really, really love this upcoming video. So over the next 10 minutes, just completely relax yourself and listen to the sounds of this restoration. Also, keep an eye out for the Vincey smiley face as well. Thank you, Jason. What a perfect finish to Series 1 of the YouTube Fixers. So if you like Jason's video, Shawn's video, or Andrew's video, or all of their videos, then look at the description down below and you will see all their channels are linked. If you like them, think about subscribing. So that is it. After 8 episodes, we are now finished with the YouTube Fixers. A massive heartfelt thanks to each and every YouTuber that made this possible. I know the hours, if not days or weeks, that has gone into each part of the video, so thank you so much. To all you lot that have watched these videos, thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the positive comments that you have been leaving. Overall, percentage wise, these videos have got more thumbs up percentage wise than any other video on my channel, so they have been well received. Now, will there be a series 2? Not sure. That's going to be down to the YouTube gods and how well this series does over time. If I'm honest with you, it's looking unlikely, but there will definitely be specials. So I was chatting to Mike from My Retro Watches and he said it'd be nice to have a Christmas special, and what a great idea. We could maybe have an hour-long video at Christmas time where we can have numerous different YouTubers on there fixing different things in their own style. We can even wear the silly Santa hats and stuff, make it quite festive. If that's popular, we could always do a summer special as well, break out the Hawaiian shirts. So that is it. Hopefully you got something from this series. It's been a lot of fun making it, and I will see you all very soon. Take care.